colors of the dark.
Press whatever one. Really good. Perfect.
I know. Maybe tomorrow. Christy would be so sad.
I would be. Usually it's too sweet. It's really good.
Figured out the
Hey. I have at least a day or two.
Somebody left something fun. Hi. Hi. How was dinner? I was at Jackson's. My
Is there a little bit? Oh yeah, we have two Kristens, two Christies, too.
We don't want to be the one causing trouble.
no, it's all good.
She is now RNBSN.
Bonuses?
And so
Checks?
it's ready to take her class.
The finance department just checking it out.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
go-
because
didn't
I
go.
don't always remember to bring it.
Was there a lot?
Yeah, I actually forgotten that I had that again.
You know, it's all going on, so, I mean, I had a chance, I talked to, well, I think Josiah and Maddie and
Past due mail.
Fire was there.
Past due mail, I'm guessing everybody's mailboxes.
Awesome.
Invites.
So we will go ahead and get started. And first up, we have our extraordinary key council. Council SRO survey update. And Maddox, thanks. Appreciate it.
Hello, how are you guys?
Good, how are you?
So, got like 60 responses. So yeah, 60 total, 33 of them were students, 27 staff.
Nice.
So for the first question, which is, I know what the role of the SRO is, and then they had like, so out of like 5, so 5 out of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 73.3% of all the replies were 4s and 5s. The like majority was a 5, like 53%. So, and there was, I think only, I can't see it from here, but like 5 1 responses, maybe 4 2s. So, it was pretty good. I think that the SRO, and then this is like, there were different options. So creates a physically safe school environment, creates an emotionally safe school environment, and so on. It was overwhelmingly positive. All of like the good ones had majority, and for the negatively influences, there was only 1. And I actually looked at the response, and I think it may have been a typo or just a mistake, because like their response to some of the other ones were saying that she's great and very valuable. So, very positive. So for experiences that they would like to share, around 70% of the responders actually just skipped this question or said no, but all of the full responses were also extremely positive. Some of the main things that they mentioned were safety, trust, kindness, and professionalism. Just all great. So for suggestions for the SRO program, once again, the majority was none. And having another SRO, or saying that they were maybe Bree was stretched out too thin, was mentioned 3 times. And then students asking her questions or getting to know her better was mentioned twice. So her coming and presenting during advisory or something like that. So for the SRO presentation, the things that were mentioned were for her to present during advisory would be knowing your rights and like what to do if you're encountering a police officer, how to report to the police, how to plan for emergencies, current trends in crime in our community, what it is like to be a police officer, what to do if you are in or witness a car crash, just an overall look at like drugs and that kind of thing, what the SRO program has done so far, and like safety with social media. So, and then just for the last one, I just had a question, which was like, do you have any other general concerns for the community that you'd like to be voiced? None of them were really city council ones, but the only 2 were student parking lot violations and then just like slurs being used in school. But there were no like city council level ones. Those were the only 2 concerns that were voiced. So yeah, overall it was extremely positive for Bree. Everybody was looking good. There was barely any negative stuff. Very solid.
What was your name again? Sorry.
Maddox.
Maddox. Right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Maddox
Maddox,
Solzma.
for presenting all of this and thoroughly looking into the survey results. For the SRO presentation, those ideas that were listed, are those ideas that you would hope to see, like if she were to come and give a presentation, those are things that students would want talked about and teachers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those were just different things that students and teachers mentioned to be looked at.
And has this been shared with her?
No, not yet, but I am planning on it.
Awesome, thanks. Other questions?
I'm trying to remember how many participants in last year's survey as opposed to this one. We like around the same as far as students responding, and staff feels like a little bit more.
I'm not sure. I don't have any access to the other survey from last year.
Oh, okay.
But it was definitely a pretty good amount of responses. I was hoping it would be a little bit better, but
Yeah. Always want more, but
Yeah.
don't always get it. I do have a question. You have to go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
do. So, just refresh my memory, if you will, please, about how this is presented, your survey and how you collect your data, and then what you do with it when, or who analyzes it and such like that?
It's just like a Google survey that was made. It's like the same one that has been sent out except for that last question. And then I just gave it to Cooksey, the dean, and she shared it out to everybody. So if possible, it would be nice if we were to take it during advisory, but I don't know, it didn't happen.
Or you would do
And then
more
I-
participation?
So whoever in the email then goes through it and clicks on it, and then I just looked through it and made the presentation.
Great, thank you. Looks like a lot of work.
It wasn't too bad.
Not too bad? Well, we appreciate it.
We do. So I have a quick question. I'm not sure if it's for you or for Christy, but do you know how long Bree has been in the SRO position at the high school? Do you?
3 years.
So 3 years. And so the reason I bring that up is I think initially when this program started, they were rotating people, so they'd only be in place for 6 months or a year. And it's really hard to get to know the school, to get to know staff as well as the student body. And I'm really, really glad to see her in that capacity for the length of time, because I think there's just a lot of benefits that accrue from that type of knowledge and relationship. So.
Yeah.
And, sorry, I found the 2024 SRO survey results from last year. There were 154 responses.
Okay.
Less.
So maybe, yeah, tying that into advisory makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, good luck with pushing
Yeah.
that idea, because I love that idea.
I attempted to, but Cooksey is super busy with the new schedule change, phone ban, and so
Yeah.
I took what I could get.
But it might be interesting for next year to,
Yeah.
to have this information, and you got 154, it went down to 70, maybe we want to, might be a good conversation to have.
For sure.
And feel free to say that we all want you to do it that way.
Also, are you presenting these results to the school board at all? Are they aware of this at all?
I don't believe so unless Cooksey said something, but
Okay.
I could.
It would be really helpful because we're talking to the school district about the MOU that the city has with the school, with the SRO, and knowing what the students feel about this, I think would be really helpful for the school board to hear directly from you all instead of from me about what I think you feel about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be good.
Yeah, it was very good. There were a lot of responses talking about, like what you said, building a good relationship.
Yeah.
Students feel comfortable around her, and
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned as well that there were, I think, 3 responses that mentioned getting another SRO on campus. We can definitely pass that message on to Chief Johnson. I assume at this time, our resources are pretty limited for that, but maybe that's something that we can look more into in the future.
And I think my understanding is there have been some conversations and, to get the school to contribute to the cost, or perhaps share in the cost just because of budgetary constraints.
When the SRO program started, the cost was split equally between the city and the school district. We paid basically for one, they paid for the other. During COVID, or I think we blame everything on COVID. It might have been another incident, but I'm not exactly
COVID
sure.
scapegoat.
I know, it is totally a COVID scapegoat. We went down to one SRO, and it just happened to be the one we were paying for. So we have been in continued conversations with the school district about financially contributing to this program, and with the understanding that this is not, this isn't a police program, right? This is not about having a police officer in this school. It's about having a resource for students, for staff, for teachers throughout the day. And I think that this type of survey really speaks to the fact that this is not a punitive program, right? This is not about making sure that the kids stay in line. It really is a preventative and proactive program in the school that is a benefit.
Right.
Maddox, do you feel comfortable trying to bring this to the school board, or would you like our help in that? Like one of us could reach out to the school board and ask if it could be on an agenda.
I mean, that would definitely be helpful. I can go to a school board meeting and present this for sure. But it would definitely be helpful if you guys,
Ask for the
yeah.
I'm happy to reach out to Joe Smith, and I'll do that this week.
Thank you.
Especially because like when I see things like presentations that the SRO could do, that seems like it's on the school end to
Yeah.
arrange an assembly of some kind or a classroom in which to do that.
And also, if it's just an advisory thing, I could
Yeah.
talk to Cooksey or Principal Hull and probably get that done. But the school board would definitely be also beneficial.
And I also think if we get it to the school board, they could help drive participation.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's an advisory where you get the numbers, I'm sure they could potentially make that a priority and help
Yes.
you.
Yeah, it would definitely be good if this was like a required survey during advisory. Some of the responses will definitely not be as strong because kids are just trying to get through it, but it would be better.
Yeah.
More voices.
Yeah.
I'll do that this week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Oh, thank you,
Thank you.
Maddox.
Really
Thanks,
appreciate the
Maddox.
time
Thank you.
you put into this. Thanks, Maddox. Okay. You look really happy as you're coming up.
Happy, guys. This is great news. Good evening, council. We have a conversation about our regional sustainability contractor today. So as you guys may remember, last summer, the county and the city of Salida went out for a grant with just a lovely, easy acronym, EECBG.
Say it 10 times fast.
I
please.
know, I'm working on it. I'll say it at the end. And we applied to get a regional contractor. So half of my role is a sustainability coordinator, but I only extend out to city limits. And working with the county, they said, man, we could really use some extra help pushing some initiatives forward. So we sat down, we wrote the grant, and we found out that we received it, $187,000, give or take. And those funds were released this April, which was a wonderful surprise. So from there, we had two kind of buckets to proceed with. One is to fulfill the role of regional sustainability contractor, and then the second is to do a greenhouse gas inventory. So we put out an RFQ for a regional sustainability contractor. We received 5 excellent applicants. It was a really tough decision. It was 2 Chaffey County employees, myself, and Jane Templeton, who you all know and who's on our sustainability committee. So with that decision, we heard from those 5 applicants, and Elements Mountain Composting was one of the applicants and was far and beyond the best applicant for the job. So we extended the approval, and Julie Mock, lead for Elements Composting, accepted the role. So I wanted to introduce her to you all today. She's going to be working with us for the next 18 to 19 months to help spearhead a couple of initiatives. So you're going to be seeing a lot of her. So Julie, I invite you to come on up and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your background.
Good evening, everyone. Great to see you all. Lots of familiar faces, and some of you I don't know as well. But again, I'm Julie Mock. I've lived here in Salida since 2009. And I came here originally as an AmeriCorps member working with the Southwest Conservation Corps. My first role was, was a 1-year kind of contract thing. I figured I'd live in the mountains in Colorado and then go get a real job somewhere else, right? And my first role was actually leading energy efficiency programming for low-income communities, kind of throughout southern Colorado. So we'd send crews in to do energy efficiency audits for low-income families. They would look at appliances and insulation, replace light bulbs and shower heads, things like that, and then provide that information to a contractor who could come in and replace, those bigger appliance issues and things. So that first year, I kind of spent a lot of time with my head in the sustainability and energy conservation world. And it really sort of ignited a passion in me for this type of work. I think it existed before, but it was really tangible and really impactful, I think, in a small community to see how this work could impact local families, local businesses, that sort of thing. So anyways, my career took me on a tangent into the public lands conservation world. So I worked for the Conservation Corps and then for the Colorado Mountain Club doing outdoor recreation policy, running trail crews, doing kind of public lands conservation work, which was great. And while doing that, because no one can stay in Salida with just one job. I started Elements Mountain Compost with a business partner. I was just gonna do the books and be in the background, and then eventually inherited this composting business and didn't want to see it go away. So since 2014, we've been providing residential and commercial food waste and yard waste collection, and then processing that and selling it back to the community. So really creating a circular economy from a resource that was just going into the landfill, and now it's creating beautiful soil that folks can use in local agriculture in their gardens. So I've come, I think, in a circular way to this position in both my work in the waste reduction world as well as the kind of broader conservation realm, and I'm super excited. I've done a little bit of work in kind of the solar, like I said, and energy efficiency world. Transit and transportation is going to be another kind of component of this position, and that's an area where I've got some learning to do and some information to gather from groups that are already working on that here in the county. But I'm super excited to kind of bring my background in the waste diversion world and energy world, and kind of bring together the resources that are in the state and in other communities to Salida and Chaffee County. I would say a big goal of this position is pulling priorities out of the city's climate action plan and the county's sustainable development plan, and really figuring out what is implementable in a short, medium, and long-term timeframe. And how we can, again, pull resources from other communities around the state who are doing this work already, learn from them, and find what really fits Salida and Chaffee County. I got a couple other notes in here. Oh, another piece of this position is coordinating a greenhouse gas emissions inventory for the county. So about $50,000 of that EECBG grant is allocated for the GHG inventory. So we'll be working with another contractor to get that data, coalesce it, and then again, pull priorities out of that exercise. A lot of focus on outreach and education, right? Engaging community members and businesses in this work, right? It's the change on both a community-wide scale and an individual scale that's gonna move some of these sustainability initiatives forward. So opportunities like the Colorado Green Business Network that provides free technical assistance for businesses, making sure people know those resources are out there and available for them to find refunds and discounts on some of these initiatives. One other big piece is pulling in some of the other municipalities. Obviously, we've got Sarah at the city doing great work here and working with Beth Homke at the county level, but we're trying to find those folks in Buena Vista and Poncha Springs who also want to be advocates for their municipalities and making those connections. So that was my kind of quick and dirty background overview. Happy to take questions and would love to hear from you all on any priorities that you have for me. And also just like how frequently you would like me to be here and present on updates and that sort of thing.
Wonderful. Who'd like to begin?
She answered all mine. That was great. Perfect. So mine was about working with Beth. She's your resource for the county.
She is, yeah. Beth and Sarah and I are meeting every other week to start off, just so we're all on the same page and kind of staying up to date on that stuff. And she'll be my primary contact, but I do think, and I've asked Sarah this too of city staff, like who are the department heads that we need to be working with? If we're looking sort of internally at city facilities, county facilities, fleets, things like that, obviously I'm going to be working with other staff at both the city and
Watch
county
out
level.
for that David Lady guy.
I know, he's a tough one.
Yeah.
So you don't have anyone for Buena Vista yet?
Not identified yet. Yeah, so if you all have any connections, either on council or on staff, I'm open. I don't have the same relationships in BV that I do here in Salida, so it's certainly open to any leads. I know Commissioner Lucrezi obviously has connections up there too, so I'm planning to kind of tap that route as well.
Does anyone up here have a connection that they feel would be on that? I mean, I'm sure that Katie would be great in Poncha, but
Katie Davis is on the board of Garna as
Oh,
well
okay,
and is a
okay.
Poncha trustee.
Okay.
what about
And
BB?
Sean Williams, the Public Works Director in BB.
Okay.
Is very interested in waste diversion and management and for their busy summer season.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks.
Julie, you mentioned transportation, and that definitely perked my ears.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just any updates on that? And I know it's going to be a while before anything
Totally.
big happens, but I think in my mind that is a priority.
Absolutely.
Intergovernmental transportation would be great. And welcome and thank you for all you've done. And then I had another one, but thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you.
And Julie, I would guess that we want to hear from you at least quarterly.
Okay.
But that you and Sarah should talk about that, because if there's something that we need to hear about, then we should hear from you.
Certainly, yeah, and I'll still be at the Sustainability Committee meetings as well, so I can route some updates through them as well, but yeah, we'll certainly, if there's anything pressing, we'll come in front of you all, but yeah, happy to present more formally, maybe quarterly, if that's a good cadence.
Thank you.
Does quarterly make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
It does to me, and I could even see if you felt like initially if it needed to be more frequently, that would be fine too. So you just kind of give us some guidance on that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Sounds great.
The only thing I wanted to mention is just a shout out to the great work you're doing with Elements. I mean, you've completely changed my behavior.
Good.
And
It's a hard one.
I mean, I know it's just one person, but I really appreciate the service and I'm excited about what you'll be able to do in this capacity. So thank you.
Great, yeah, thank you. Thanks for participating.
And I think Sarah is going to be a great person to work with.
Yeah, it's been great already.
Yeah, I know. Anything else?
I just had a question about the grant. And that grant is a one-time award? Or is it where we have to use it within a certain amount of time? Or we just get it?
It's an 18-month implementation period, right? So basically to the end of 2026 for this contract specifically. Part of the role also includes looking at long-term funding for a position like this, right? Figuring out if we can come together with some intergovernmental funding to pool for continuing this position, if we need it at a full-time position or multiple people or half-time. So it's assessing that and kind of coming up with a framework for moving forward. Good question.
Great.
She doesn't even need me.
Oh, she's got it.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it and looking forward to working with you.
Yeah, thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay.
This might be the record.
Wait, yeah.
Want to talk about anything else? Nope. Okay, all
Don't
right.
tell me a story.
A good fit?
I want you to feel like we're kicking you out.
Take us out. Maybe. Right, yeah. I know.
All right.
I went, I put my bag down and then I realized it was the poncha table and I'm just like, ease in slowly like a hot pool, like, hi guys.
Weird to kind of have relax.
Yeah. Put my bag down, didn't know who was sitting at the table.